Okay, everybody, we're going to cut over to the press conference now. Thanks for joining us. It is just a little bit before 3 o'clock. This press conference was assembled by Kathy Chamberlain. The American Patriot Executive Committee has released a statement on the 19th about the RPOF and the RPOF, the Republican Party of Florida, what they're doing in terms of removing the most MAGA members of the Republican executive committees across all 67 counties in Florida. They're going in and removing committee leaders as well as the entire board and swapping it out with the people they choose. And remember, folks, those folks were actually elected by the people in their county. So what the RPOF is doing, while they have changed their statutory bylaws to allow for that, really, frankly, does not reflect the will of the people in each of the 67 counties in Florida. So let's cut over here. I think Kathy's getting interviewed right now. And let's take a listen, but she's going to be stepping up to the podium here shortly.
Spam. It's spam, she said.
Okay, we got you guys.
Thank you for calling the FBI. And they hang up every time. I just wanted to show books. I got them over there. She's walking out. So you got rules for rhinos here. Rules. And they really are going to have about 400 footnotes in each book. So they're really packed with facts. Where can you find everybody show you? On Amazon. Both of them. Oh, okay, good. But so the reason I kind of did that is because as I was halfway through those rhinos, I started getting into the Manatee REC situation. And I started talking to a lot of the people who were caught up in the suspension of the Manatee REC, some of whom you will hear from them today. And I started getting more and more upset. I was only going to mention it in my book, but the more I heard, the more it was like, oh my God, I got to make this my entire 13th chapter. So I did, and then I reached out to the RPOF because I had some. For example, how could you shut down the REC without speaking to any of the eyewitness, the main actors in that whole scenario? That really bothered me. And they never got back to me. Well, you know what they did? Within a week, they were gathering together, meeting to discuss filing 4 grievances against me. We'll hear a little bit about that here. And then now I'm suspended. Member in good standing, Vanello's REC. And now I've been purged also.
I wanted to ask you, because you have this button here that says badge honor. Evan Power fired me. Of course, Evan being the chair of the GOP. I understand is running for Congress. It shocked me some of the people that are endorsing him. So I'm wondering, where is the breakdown? Because we all love MAGA. I love collaboration. So where is this breakdown to endorse somebody that MAGA Patriots from the podium?
Oh, I think it's all intentional. They know what they're doing. This divide began when the election was going to the Republican Party really began to be divided into one side, which is the rhinos, wanted to shoot us down talking about the 2020 and we were like incredulous. What do you mean we can't fix it unless we fix it? We can't ever have elections. But they refused to accept that too.
And now there's a lot of that coming out that we were right the entire time. Yeah, look at the FBI coming into Fulton, Georgia. 700, I think, boxes of ballots. And this is what, I won't get to election. This is what I talked about earlier today on the show. You have Fulton County, Georgia, FBI agents showing up to take ballots, hard copy ballots, 700 boxes or whatever of ballots, to now go in forensic audit. Here in the state of Florida, there's a bill trying to be circulated and passed that let's take away hard copy paper ballots and go all machine.
And they're labeling it election integrity.
Yeah, exactly. But let's talk more after the press because I think we're about ready to start.
Well, I do want to say this really fast. It says, Brock, what is a rhino? It says a rhino, or Republican in name only, is a term used to describe a member of the Republican Party who is perceived as not adhering to conservative principles or who supports policies typically associated with the Democratic Party. It's often used pejoratively by more conservative Republicans to present as those seen as too moderate or liberal.
Right, guys, we're going to be bringing you that press conference right here soon. So, guys, hang tight. Stay in there. We're going to keep the live. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you. God bless you. Let's get present. Let's keep it here so that we can. Can we break down for a piece of tape? Yeah, I got to tape to the platform quickly.
Good afternoon from Manatee County, Florida. We are going to have some interesting conversations today. I can't promise a whole lot of fun, but these are messages that we all really need to hear. So thank you, everybody, for making it down here or wherever you came from, whether you live here or what have you. We really need to find out what's going on within our Republican Party today. So my name is Kathy Chamberlain, and I'll be emceeing today's program on this 29th day of January 2026. Thank you for those coming to the second press conference of our APEC coalition. American Patriot Executive Committee, APEC, has hosted both of these press conferences to bring much needed attention to a crisis happening in our state prior to the critical primary elections of 2026. In 2024, our own Republican Party of Florida, aka Rpof or Florida GOP, continued waging war against MAGA and America Firsters that is unprecedented in its ruthless and relentless attacks. If you're not paying attention, you may not have noticed, but I'll tell you who has noticed. Those of us who've been unceremoniously stripped of our membership in our county Republican executive committees, or REC. Folks, I'm going to stop here to get everybody behind me or in front of me there, but thank you very much. What a good looking crowd. This is MAGA. So, a county REC, for those who don't know, is the local command and control center of the Republican Party. While many Republicans have no idea, precinct committee persons, state committee men and women, and entire RECs that were majority controlled by the true America Firsters and MAGA in Trump's party are being shut out and shut down. The question is, why? APEC's first press conference was held late last year at the Rpof Quarterly in Orlando, Florida. 11 speakers from 9 different counties in Florida shared their unique stories of being purged by our Rpof. That press conference and this one, plus more information about our coalition, are available at our website, apecunited.com. As an author of political books, a speaker throughout Florida, and an activist for MAGA causes, I've grown increasingly concerned about attacks by Republicans in name only, or rhinos, who've been taking control over our politics in Florida. When I wrote my first book, Rules for Deplorables, the biggest threat to America's freedoms were from the left and Democrats. Today, President Trump and the Republican Party have a different enemy, rhinos amongst us.
Yes.
We see it in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
as they hamstring his agenda.
Yes.
And we're seeing it here in Florida as they purge the best grassroots America First activists Trump has.
Yep. Right.
My latest book, Rules for Rhinos, exposes the current rhino war on MAGA and how they're now using Alinsky tactics to silence Trump's base.
Oh,
In 2024, active America First MAGA patriots were expelled right here in Manatee County when the RPOF shut down the entire MAGA majority REC, commandeered its $89,000 treasury, and removed every MAGA member in it. The last thing we want to do is hurt our president by exposing the RPOF's purging campaign of MAGA. However, it is affecting our neighborhoods.
yes.
We refuse to allow lobbyists and dark money candidates who don't have our best interests at heart to continue targeting the most effective grassroots members of his base as President Trump himself struggles to regain control over our nation. It is up to us to control our own backyards.
Right. Yeah.
While writing my book, I reached out to our RPOF to get their side of the story as far as the Manatee REC shutdown went. They refused to go on record. Instead, they filed 4 grievances against me, recommending my suspension from the party. You can read those grievances and my responses at my website, rulesfordeplorablesbook.com. Lara Trump was recruited as keynote speaker at tonight's Trump Day dinner being held here to rebuild the Manatee REC membership with RPOF select replacements of MAGA. We feel she has a right to know the background.
Yes.
So we overnighted her a letter last week explaining it and our intentions to bring exposure to tonight's event here, our event, our press conference. Lest you think Manatee is unique, other RECs that have been attacked are Brevard, Palm Beach, Sarasota, Duval, Franklin, Osceola, and St. John's. Those are the only ones we know of. Your REC could be next if this behavior is not stopped. RPOF Chairman Evan Power and Executive Director Bill Helmich are out of control and should be removed for the good of the party. Sign up to join our efforts at apecunited.com. We will be partnering with the nationally acclaimed Rhino Removal Project to help true MAGA America First candidates get the exposure they deserve over the rhinos handpicked candidates we are being force-fed. And now I'd like to introduce the speakers for today.
Yes.
Most are Manatee County America First former REC members who were purged when their REC was suspended in 2024. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, the only truly elected Manatee County Republican State Committee woman, Jackie Heisey.
Good afternoon. I was elected the Manatee County State Committee woman in August 2024 by county Republican voters. I was removed from that position in March 2025 by Evan Power, a lobbyist from Tallahassee, who is the chair of the Republican Party of Florida. He's also running for Congress in Congressional District 2. Please do not vote for him if you live there. This is Gasparilla Week in Tampa, where a pretend band of pirates sail up the Hillsborough River and invade the city. Well, we have a real pirate invasion in Manatee County. We have a band of pirates who are Tallahassee lobbyists that have stolen our Manatee County Republican Executive Committee, your official county GOP. They have tricked Lara Trump into believing she is fundraising for a properly elected county Republican committee, when in reality, they are appointed illegitimate substitutes, pirates who have stolen our positions and our money. The Republican Party of Florida, the Rpof, has not only removed the duly elected state committee man and woman, but also the majority of the 170 properly qualified and elected members of that Manatee County official GOP. The officers of the fake county Republican committee were selected and appointed in March 2025. These officers should have been elected by the elected committee. These fake officers then secretly appointed about 30 pirates. We don't know exactly how many, since it has not been publicly reported against state statutes, to steal our positions and money to work for their party-sponsored special interest candidates who pillage our county for their lobbyist clients, such as developers, a phosphate mining company, and possibly a port operations and logistics company. These pirates are inside this building behind me right now, collecting more treasure, and not one of our elected officials is out here standing with us. The goal is for you to have one choice versus the opposition party in each election. Vote for Tallahassee's candidate or a Democrat. They do not want a real primary. If you do not have choices in an election, you do not have an election. It is the local elected party committee, free from lobbyist control, that provides for a balanced primary election with choices, and it should educate its voters on these choices. I ran for state committee woman to ensure that county Republicans had a seat at the table in the party. Well, they clearly do not want us at the table. So until the pirates are gone, we will need to set up our own table. Just as during the 2024 elections, citizens outside of the party machine must educate voters on the candidates and drive turnout. We need principled people to step up as candidates, and we need every voter to do their homework. We need you to vote in the August 18th primary, but beware, you cannot vote based solely on an endorsement by the Republican Party of Florida, RPOF, or the secret pirated county Republican committee. You cannot vote based on postcards you receive in the mail or text messages. People hate politics, but you cannot be free and happy if you have no influence over your government's decisions. Amen. These decisions affect your wealth or lack thereof, and your ability to be happy and safe in your community. If we all get involved, we have great power. This was demonstrated last week when we learned of plans to destroy our area with a mega cruise ship terminal. Please do not think that that is over. Please get involved, educate yourself, and vote cautiously in the most important election in this county, the Republican primary on August 18th, 2026. Thank you for your time. And our next speaker is the elected state committee man, Trent Wayman.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you, APEC, for hosting this. Fellow Floridians and Patriots, listen to our speaker's words. Corruption. Corruption is the common theme from all the Patriots speaking out today. For too long, the Republican Party of Florida, the RPOF, has been a swamp of corruption where party bosses kneel before special interest donors and trample the will of we the people. I've seen it firsthand. As a duly elected state committeeman, chosen by 60% of the primary voters in Manatee County, I was removed by just a handful of these corrupt politicians for standing up for America First values. I was ousted by corrupt lobbyists, namely Evan Power. But it does not end there. No, I was replaced by another corrupt individual who in the lead up to the 2024 primary created a fake Christian voter guide with fake endorsements. The fake voter guide was then disseminated in a massive texting campaign sent out to unsuspecting residents of Manatee County. That is deception. It is corruption. The party bosses protect their power at all costs, ignoring voters, merging into a uniparty with Democrats, where choice is just an illusion. The new RNC chair, straight from Florida's Rpof leadership, is knee-deep in this mess. It's systemic, toxic, and nearly impossible to fix from within. That's why I co-founded the America First Party of Florida, or AMF. We're building something new, a true grassroots party of the people, for the people, and by the people. AMF challenges the uniparty, restores hope, and makes your votes count again. By switching registrations to AMF, we quantify the massive America First voter base, drying up their funding, and showing the corrupt establishment we're done being ignored. We're the fastest growing party in Florida while others shrink. In fact, over the last 6 months, we've gained more voters in our party than all the other parties combined. Because we're committed to real change, not empty promises. It's time to ditch the Republicans who abandoned us decades ago. Join AMF today by going to our webpage, realamericafirst.org. America First Party of Florida, all of the values, none of the corruption. Together we'll save Florida and America. God bless you, God bless Florida, and God bless these United States. Thank you. Our next speaker is Jack May, president of Manatee Patriots and former precinct committeeman of Manatee County, 313.
Thank you, sir. All right. They've asked me to write it down so I don't talk for 20 minutes. You know, one of the things that we need to know is that we've got a war going on, and it's not just a war of wits. It's a spiritual war. I want to tell you what Brother Paul said to the Ephesians 5:11. If you want to look it up and make sure I'm not getting it wrong.
6:11.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful rites and works of darkness, but rather expose them. That's what we're doing. We're exposing the works of darkness. Look, I'm going to be brief. It's only one page. Hang with me. It's my desire to bring clarity to some of the previous conditions that led up to the dismissal of your local Republican Party. At our last meeting, the very last meeting, prior to the state party dissolving the Manatee County Republican Executive Committee, we discussed and planned on using the $30,000 refunded to us from the Supervisor of Elections office for electioneering for District 1 and District 3 county school board races. Sound like a good idea. Our school board candidates run in a nonpartisan election. Party designation is not on the ballot. The names are placed in alphabetical order. And unlike the rest of the ballot where the Republican name is and Republican candidate is listed first. So the plan was to utilize political committees to get out the vote, notify Republican voters that the school board race had Republicans on the ballot, specifically District 3 and District 1. Unfortunately, the RPOF found it necessary to confiscate these funds, which were earmarked for getting Republican candidates elected to office. Now, the reason I found that so amazing is because if you ask anyone, what's the purpose of the county RECs and the state Republican Party of Florida? And the answer is to get Republicans elected.
That's right.
Seemed an easy concept to understand. The outcome, I believe, shows the party's reluctance to ensure we have like-minded Republican candidates filling every elected office we're running for. The outcome, lost important board seats to candidates who do not share our convictions or worldview concerning leadership and governance. One on his website said, "Oh, by the way, I'm a Marxist."